Hi Jenny, so this is Lightroom. I'm going to go through some basics with you, but nothing else, just so you can start having a mess around with stuff. So I've already imported your photos that are here. I've done that by clicking import, and then this box comes up, and then you just go down through to find wherever the photos were, so then you click it and then press import. But I've already done it. So you got your photos here, and this is your library, so it shows you all the photos, and you can do things like just selecting different photos to do different things too, but that's irrelevant. So we're going to go on to development, and this is where you make all your editing. So I'm going to click on that, so no photo selected, so you've got your time bar here, and then we're going to select a photo. We'll select that one. So you can see all down the side, right hand side here, you've got all your controls. So when you click these, different ones open. It looks confusing, but once you know what they all do, it's quite simple. So we'll start off with the basic. So you've got your white balance here. So if you want to make the picture cooler, you go a bit to the blue. If you want it warmer, it goes towards the orange. Self-explanatory. Don't really mess with this one too much, but if you think it's looking a bit too green or red, then you move it in the opposite direction. So you got your exposure, so this is just basically your brightness of your picture. This is what I did the other day, where I just moved it down and it came properly exposed. So yeah, so you've got that. You got your contrast, which basically makes colours pop out a bit more. So if I slide it a bit more, you can see the coat's getting more red, but then it kind of messes with the face a bit more, and you get a bit of a fake look. So I don't mess with that too much. Sometimes I do, but not a lot. So you've got your highlights are always the bits that are blown out. So like Dan's face or the sky. So say for example, you haven't got a lot of detail there. You bring down the highlights, and you get some more detail back in his face. Okay, so I'll bring that down. And then you've got your shadows, which is opposite to your highlights, so anything that's in a shadow, like down here, you can bring up. So you can see how it's come up there. Yeah, so we'll slide that up. Normally, with any portrait photo, you want to bring your highlights down, your shadows up, and your blacks down a little bit. That's just like the go-to thing. Clarity is like your details, like makes things pop out a bit again. Similar to contrast, but we won't go into too much detail. It's just a little bit different than contrast. So normally with male shoots, you'd put your clarity up, and then with female, you'd put it down because it will smooth out the skin. So I'm going to put clarity up a bit. Dehaze, I wouldn't mess with that unless it was a foggy day, because it basically gets rid of the fog. And as you can see, it gets really dark and stuff as well. So I'd probably put a little bit on actually. Probably put that much on. Vibrance is your warmth again, so you can see in the background all the oranges are going more orange. Saturation is your colour, so it makes everything more colourful. So all these you have to do, only move them a little bit, not a lot, because overall the change is massive. So if you, on your keyboard, you can press the backslash button, which is by your Z, and it will show you before and after. So you got your before and after. So we'll go down to the tone curve. Now pretty standard again, you do something that's called an S curve, because it makes the letter S. So without going into much information, this is your shadows, that's your midtones, and that's your highlights. So you'll bring your shadows up, not too much. Normally bring your highlights down, so you've got a line. If you go onto this midpoint where it crosses, and bring that line back up, and then this line back down, and that's a pretty standard thing that I do on most of photos. So if you go on HSL, which is all your colours, so basically if you wanted that coat less red, you click down on the red. But if you notice, there's some red in Danny's skin, so if you to click red all the way down, his face is gone wrong, so you have to be careful with these. So normally what I do on photos, if it's outside, I bring down your greens. There's not much green on this, but I'll show you in a second that you can normally tell a lot. And then your yellows I normally bring down a bit because that's part of your grass. If you bring down the background, which is normally your grass, with colours, then it makes the subject come off the background a bit more, as you can see. So I still think Ruben's jacket is a bit too red, so if you click on this, it's going to adjust where you're clicking. So if you click and drag down, if you look to the right, you can see that it's moving the reds up and down. Okay, so I'm just going to move it down just a little bit, like that. In fact, you know what, bring it back up a little bit actually. There you go. So then you've got your split toning, don't worry about that at the minute. Details is your sharpening, so you want to put your sharpening, just leave it where it is at 40. If you hold the Alt button and then slide, you want to get to the point where the outlines are white and everywhere else is black, because that's sharpened out the edges. If you shot it at high ISO, which you haven't because it gives all your details here, so ISO 320, 50mm f2 at 1/200th of a second, you can put noise reduction on, which you won't be able to tell. But if you click on it and it's normally a noisy image, you see how you see that his face has gone a bit smoother. It just gets rid of the noise. And if you don't know what noise is, I'll just show you on here, which is grain. So if I was to put grain on the everywhere, so if you were to shoot at high ISO, this is what you'd get. You'd get a lot of noise on the picture, because that's the way the ISO works. But normally you can't see it unless you're probably about above 800 ISO or something, so I'll leave that off. Transform, that's just your cropping and stuff, so you don't have to deal with that. Effects, zoom out, these are your zooming, so you can zoom out to fill, or fit it properly, or zoom all the way in. So I'll have it to fit. Post cropping vignette, a lot of the time I just put a little black one going around the edges so it draws you in a little bit. And that's about it. That's your basics really. So I'd start with just messing with all these and trying to get different effects and stuff. But what you can do, if I quickly show you, is all them settings that I've done now on that picture, if you press copy, so you copy that, if you go onto another picture, well, let's go on with a lot of green on, so go on to another picture now, and then click on paste. It pastes all them settings that you've just done onto this picture. So on this one I'll just bring down the exposure down a bit now, and probably warm it up a bit, because that's the only thing, so it didn't change. So then you've got that one, which is the before and after. And that's it. So you just want to mess around with these for now. Obviously import your pictures, mess around with it, and then if you want to export them so you can put them on Facebook and stuff, you can either do it along here, or you can go back to your library, click on the ones that you want by holding control, so say that one, and where's the other one that we did, and that one. If you right click it, go down to export, export again, and just choose the folder that you want to move it to. You can change the name of the documents and stuff. Make sure your quality is up to 100, and then just click export, and then it'll export for you. And that is it. So just have a play around, see what you think.